This movie's only been out for a few days and it's already this decisive. Fucking love it. Hey everyone, welcome to the review, and here's my review for the movie Annihilation. Yes, Annihilation stars Natalie Portman, Gina Rodriguez, Jason Leigh, Tessa Thompson, and Oscar Isaac, and this movie is written and directed by Garland himself, yes, the guy who gave us Ex Machina, an amazing sci-fi film that came out in 2015, one of my favorite films of 2015, and now he gave us Annihilation. From the trailers alone, this movie was super vague. I had no idea what the fuck this movie was about. And of course, in my review, I'm going to do what the trailers did. I'm going to try to be as vague and as non-spoilery as I can. I'll try my best. Like, I will try. But yeah, I'm not going to say much about this movie because I want people to go into this movie with a very open mind and not knowing much about it, and just take this movie as it is and how you feel about it. If you hate this movie, that's fine. If you love this movie, you think it's a masterpiece, that's fine too. Again, this movie is getting critical praise, but as I see a lot of the critics now getting the reviews and stuff, this is a pretty decisive film. A lot of people are calling this movie pretentious. A lot of people are calling it boring and shallow and just it's too confusing. Understand all those things. Some people are saying it's too weird. I completely get it, and I understand all those things, and I completely agree with those things, but that's why I love this movie. The story of this movie, again, I'll be as vague as I can. It's about this biologist, and she's going into this other world called the Shimmer, and she's taking these other biologists with her, these other scientists with her, actually, and they're all female, and basically they're trying to go into this world and figure out what the meaning of its existence is. And she's also trying to find her husband, and why her husband went in there, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be as vague as I can. But yeah, in this movie, the coolest thing about Annihilation is that I think many people can interpret different things about this film and what the meaning of this movie is, what the story actually means and stuff. And some people will have different theories and different analysis about this film, which is awesome. A lot of people will take certain things in different ways and stuff, and different meanings in different ways and stuff. And this is a damn great film, actually. I love movies that get people talking. I like movies that are very decisive. That's why I love The Last Jedi so much. It was decisive, but I didn't care. If you hated it, that's fine. I like that movies that start up conversations and everything. And yeah, it's kind of like Red Sparrow. I think Red Sparrow is going to be a movie that a lot of people are going to like, but I didn't like that movie. But this one I really loved. I really loved Annihilation. I thought this was visually amazing. The visuals are fantastic. The cinematography is amazing. It's mind-blowing, the shots in this film. They're fucking amazing. And I think Garland's direction is fucking, like, A+ direction. This is a really well-directed, very well-constructed film. The writing is so deep, so meaningful, very smart, thought-provoking, profound, and it's done really well. It's a really well-written screenplay, and the performances are all great. The supporting cast, like Tessa Thompson, Jason Leigh, they're all great. Oscar Isaac, for what he is in the movie, he's good. Natalie Portman's fantastic. I love that she could play a role like this. I won't talk too much about her character, but she is just so good in this movie. She holds nothing back when she gives a great role. That's why she's so good in, like, Jackie and Black Swan. When you give her a proper role, she commits fully, and she is fantastic in this film, Natalie Portman. She is so good. And again, Garland, he's such a different and unique and such an ambitious filmmaker, and it really shows. His talents really show in this film. I don't think this is a better movie than Ex Machina. I think Ex Machina is just I like that it's a smaller scale film, it's a more intense film, and I got into the characters in that movie. I personally liked Ex Machina more, but I think this is a better made film, and definitely a more out there idea, more ambitious film. This movie, he took a lot more risks, which I do admire and stuff, and he's got to take the ridicule and a lot of people's confusion and stuff. That's the point of being an artist. He really shows his artistic expression in this film, and I admired it, and I respected it, and I loved it. I thought this movie, maybe I'll make another video of what I get from this movie, what my interpretation of this movie is, the meaning of everything that happens, because I have different thoughts and opinions about this movie than probably other people do. Like, there's other things I got differently. Like, I saw this movie with some friends, and they all interpreted the movie way differently than me. They all thought of certain things differently. Like, this is a movie that, again, will start conversations and stuff. People will have their own theories and just there are different ideas of what this movie is trying to say, and it's interesting. I love it. This movie does not spoon-feed you ideas, and it doesn't spoon-feed you answers, and that might really frustrate people, and I completely get it, but I love that this movie was very confusing, and it did not give you any of the answers, and it was very vague. Not just the trailers, like the movie itself is very vague, and again, I admired this movie. This movie is basically like, hey audience, figure it out yourself. And I have my own different theories, and maybe I'll do a video of what I think this movie's about. But this movie, I think, is a lot about the main character and a lot about a certain illness. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna really say and everything. And yeah, this movie's beautiful too. It's just a really well shot, directed, and written film, and a powerfully acted film. And again, I admire its ambitiousness, and I loved its symbolic interactionalism, and I loved how deep and profound this movie is. This movie is a slow burn, and a lot of people will get bored out of this movie. They'll get fucking bored, and they just want to pull their hair out watching this movie. Completely get it. Like, some people probably thought that when they saw A Ghost Story and everything. Like, they showed screenings for A Ghost Story and people were bored out of their mind. But I loved that movie. I loved how much of a slow burn that film was. It built on the tone. Same with this one. It builds on the tone. And again, it depends on how you do slowness and how you build on atmosphere. I like how they did the world building and the character building through its slow atmosphere and its slow tone. It fit perfectly with the premise and story. See, I didn't think they did it that very well in Red Sparrow, and that's why I was bored in that movie. But this one, I was just blown away by it. And like, every scene and every frame, I was wondering, like, what does that mean? What is the meaning of that? Like, almost every frame you can pick apart and, like, why did he shoot that scene like that? Why is the angle this way? Why does that scene, like, symbolize dominance? Is that about an illness? Is this, like, it's just, there's so many different questions you ask yourself in this film, and it's enticing and really interesting and intriguing. Just, your brain flares up and stuff, and you're just like, oh my god, what does this mean? It's great. I had a lot of fun with this movie. This is not a movie like a popcorn film. This is a smart, thinky sci-fi film, and it's kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's not exactly like that movie, but like when that movie came out, 2001: A Space Odyssey, during its time period, people did not like that movie, and they thought it was too weird and too out there. But now it's like considered one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time, so I'm curious to see if Annihilation will become one of the great sci-fi films in like 50 years from now. So yeah, I understand why people don't like this movie. I understand why people are angry, or they're too confused, and they think it's a dull or shallow, just a bleak film that just goes nowhere. Like, I understand all that. I admired this film so much. This is a film people will be studying for years, and will have millions of theories and different ideas from this film. A lot of people will have, again, different perspectives and stuff. Everyone has different thoughts and opinions on something, and I like that. It sparks conversations, and I feel like people could teach a whole class about this movie, and it's interesting. It's a great movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, I loved this movie. Every second of this movie, I was trying to pick apart. It was like solving like a math equation, or trying to fix a very hard science experiment. It's interesting, and it's engaging, and it's just so deep and so thought-provoking. Like, my god, it was like an exercise for the brain watching this film, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's not perfect, but it's a damn phenomenal sci-fi film that I recommend with caution. This is a movie I know a lot of people will hate, but in my opinion, I absolutely loved it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give Annihilation a 9.5 out of 10. This is a damn great film. Maybe years from now, this will be like one of the great sci-fi films, and maybe I might change it to a 10 out of 10. Or who knows, maybe a few years from now, I'll think of it as a pretentious film, and I'll put it to like a 7 out of 10. Who knows what's in store for this film and the future of this film, if it'll get like a cult status or anything, but as of now, I think this is a very deep and thought-provoking sci-fi film that I loved, and yeah, I actually want to watch it again. It's so good. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Annihilation. So in the comment section below, please tell me, give me your thoughts, legit, give me your thoughts and opinions of this movie. Did you like this movie? Did you hate this movie? Were you too confused by it? Did you just get bored of it? Or did you find this literally a great, smart, engaging sci-fi film? And if you haven't seen it yet, are you scared to see this movie? I admit to yourself, because I know some people are a little afraid to go see this movie because they might think it's too boring. I completely get it, but honestly, just off my recommendation alone, I think this is a very deep sci-fi film that will really make you think and stuff, and it's also very terrifying at times. It really is haunting at times, and yeah, I loved it. But yeah, I'm curious to know everyone's thoughts and opinions of this film. I'm very curious to get that conversation going about this film. So yeah, give me your thoughts and opinions, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.